was a bright Saturday morning in the heart of New York City. The streets were buzzing with people rushing to work, tourists taking photos, and street performers showing off their tricks. Amid all this chaos, a small, almost invisible alley caught the attention of a curious teenager named Jake. He was 16, adventurous, and always looking for something extraordinary in his ordinary world. Jake had walked past this alley hundreds of times, but today, a faint golden glow caught his eye. He turned the corner and saw a small food cart parked quietly, unlike any food cart he had ever seen. It was painted in sparkling shades of gold and purple, with tiny twinkling lights around the edges. The sign read, "The One Magical Bite." Intrigued, Jake approached. Behind the counter stood a cheerful man with a thick mustache and a twinkle in his eye. "Welcome, young adventurer," the man said. "I serve food that can change your world, just one bite at a time." Jake raised an eyebrow. "Change my world? How?" "Each dish has a magical effect," the man explained. "Some make you faster, some stronger. Some make your dreams come to life." Jake chuckled nervously. "Dreams come to life, huh? Sounds like a scam." Skepticism is healthy," the man said with a smile. "But for the curious, there's only one way to find out." He handed Jake a small golden cookie. The moment Jake took a bite, the world around him shimmered. The noise of the city softened, colors grew brighter, and suddenly Jake could hear the thoughts of the pigeons on the street. "Whoa!" Jake whispered. He looked down and saw that the small cracks in the sidewalk had turned into tiny glowing pathways, leading him deeper into the alley. As he followed them, ordinary objects began to change. A newspaper floated up and danced in the air, and a street lamp bent down slightly to wave at him. Jake's heart raced. He had never experienced anything like this. Then he saw it. A tiny, magical dog, barely bigger than his hand, sitting atop a crate. It wagged its tail and looked at him expectantly. Jake smiled and shared a small piece of his cookie. Instantly, the dog grew to normal size and barked happily, performing somersaults in the air. "This is amazing!" Jake exclaimed. He wandered further, each step revealing something new. A hot dog cart that rolled on its own, delivering food with perfect precision, a small fountain that bubbled rainbow-colored water, and a trash can that laughed when someone tossed in garbage. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. People on the main street hardly noticed, but in this alley, Jake was in a world of magic and wonder. He met children who could suddenly float a few inches off the ground, a cat that spoke in riddles, and a street musician whose violin produced glowing notes that danced in the air. Yet, as fascinating as it all was, Jake remembered his parents waiting at home. He had to return to reality eventually. But just as he turned to leave, a shadow fell over the alley. A stern-looking woman in a sharp suit appeared. "Mr. Zippy," she said, addressing the food cart man, "you've been bending the rules for too long. Magic is not meant for public streets. It can cause chaos." The man nodded calmly. "I understand, but Jake here has learned a valuable lesson. Magic is powerful, yes, but joy and kindness are its true purpose." Jake felt a warmth in his chest. He realized that magic wasn't just about amazing powers. It was about sharing, helping, and seeing the wonder in ordinary things. The woman softened, and with a wave of her hand, the alley returned to normal. The magical dog shrank back to its tiny size, the rainbow fountain became plain water, and the floating objects settled back to the ground. But Jake didn't feel disappointed. He held the last piece of cookie in his hand, and even though the magic seemed gone, he could still feel its essence, a spark of curiosity, a sense of wonder, and a reminder that extraordinary moments could appear anywhere, sometimes in the most ordinary alleys of New York City. As Jake walked home, he passed the bustling streets, noticing things he had never appreciated before. The laughter of children, the aroma of coffee brewing, the sparkle of sunlight on the buildings, he realized that a single magical bite had changed the way he saw the world, not by giving him powers, but by opening his eyes to the magic that already existed. By the time he reached his apartment, the sun was setting, casting a warm, golden glow over the city. Jake smiled, knowing that even though he might never find the magical alley again, the experience had left him with something far more valuable, the ability to see wonder in every day. And somewhere, in a quiet corner of New York, the little food cart waited, ready for the next curious soul, brave enough to take the one magical bite.